after the meeting ends, it'll just start converting it, so you'll be good after that.
Cool. All right. And then I'm trying to get this to go away.
So I think I did it correctly, matching my my character sheet from my app that I sent you to D&D and Beyond. So I think I'm good.
Cool. All right. Let's do this. I should probably exit out of this. Uh-oh. Yes, husband. Yes, husband.
What?
What do you need?
What do I need with what?
Why'd you text me? What do you need? All right, let's. Okay. I'm just gonna exit out of, so that way I'm running the least amount of things. Okay. So everyone wants to begin in the Vastwood. All right. And not everybody, but. Where did my options go for all of this? What? Come back. Okay, cool. There it is. Computer crashes in 3, 2, 1.
I love that we're all watching the Zoom meter go.
Just really hoping it makes it to the end.
Yeah. 99%, 98%, 99%.
I'm watching the the thing to make sure it like shows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you go live, I'll refresh to check the Twitch. Actually, you're live on mine. And I just muted the live stream because it's a 3-second delay.
It's a 3-second delay? Huh.
Yeah, so if you actually have the audio on, you'll hear yourself talking out loud and then hear it on the stream.
Assuming the stream works, where is it at so I can tell Andrew?
On his Coffee Neanderthal 94. Neanderthal is spelled incorrectly.
Wow.
Why do you have to call me out like this?
Gonna have to rebrand if this takes off. Can't let people know you don't know how to spell.
Robert, you have a degree in English.
You know?
He even told me he looked it up.
I did.
Where? Urban Dictionary?
I did look it up. All right,
Everybody just use the spell check now.
Oh, hey, I can see it. I can hear myself.
I told you.
All right. One sec. Okay.
How incorrectly did you spell it, Robert?
Oh, there is a delay.
The H is in the wrong spot.
No, there is a delay.
I told you that, dude. That's why you have to just mute the stream. Like, you can leave it rolling in the background. There it is. Oops.
I'm gonna mute the stream. Okay, All right. I have my phone watching it, I guess, just to make sure it looks okay. All right, everybody, let's begin before we run out of time for the beginning. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my first stream. I am super nervous, and I'm also your DM. So I just put 2 and 2 together with that one. So let's see. Right off the bat, we have Iron Silk over here on my right. We have Lucy, who's also my husband, on below me, where he should be. And the amazing Butterbeans, my friend Vanessa, right over here. Dimi, the amazing Dimi over here as well. Not that you two aren't amazing either, by the way.
Your words, not mine.
We have Sasha over here with the lovely pink hair, and then we have our one faceless being Thorn to my left right now. Probably gonna disappear off the screen in a second. All right, everyone.
Twilight music.
Who's ready to explore the vast wilderness of Oogorth and the 75-degree temperature that it perpetually is?
I'm ready.
Sounds good.
Ready?
A light jacket weather.
It's jacket weather. So let's actually, what I'm gonna do is.
Is there a way that I can manually lower the background music? Because it's significantly louder than y'all.
Like that?
That's perfect.
Awesome. I don't think anyone can actually hear it in the.
I think if you go to on D&D Beyond, I mean not D&D, Roll20, if you go to your settings, there's a master music volume level, and you can lower it for yourself.
Okay.
Let's see.
Ah, yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So to begin, Oogorth. Oogorth is something that it might seem very familiar to everybody. It is very, very, very similar to the Forgotten Realms, except for some minor things that have happened differently in this world. No one knows for sure why or how it happened, but the world is inhabited by massive beholders, taller than buildings, taller than skyscrapers, bigger than mountains, and taller than the largest tree in Oogorth. These beholders are the gods of this realm, and they control the very fabric and being of the world. They are made of pure weave, made of entirely of magic, and they control how you perceive reality on this world and how things come into creation. In the beginning, there were 6 of them. The god of fire, the god of water, the god of air, the god of earth, the god of winter and ice, and the god of wind. Wait, did I say the god of wind first already?
You said air.
Air, fire, water, earth, air, and ice. There were only 5 gods. There were only 5 gods in the beginning, and they lived in perfect harmony, keeping the ecosystem and the balance of the world in check. But at some point, the god of ice disappeared, and with them disappeared all of winter and all of the cold in the world. People had to learn how to care for themselves when it came to keeping food safe. As the temperature rose, summers became increasingly hotter than normal, enough to kill somebody if they got lost in the summer heat. And the cooler air, and what people called the second winter, only got as low as 75 degrees. Because of this, the world is covered in plants and cactus that could survive in hotter climates. Everything seems very brushy and seems very, even though there is still a lot of water, everything seems like it has grown to protect itself. Plants have spines that grow on them. The insects and the insects and flies and like parasites have grown rampant throughout Oogorth. Flies are very common, and the only thing keeping them at bay is magic itself. However, as we begin our journey into Oogorth and its large and vast kingdoms, we center on one that is bigger and more industrial than the rest. This place is called Weiss, and here at Weiss is where the intellects go. Weiss can be considered a very forward-thinking place. It's a democracy as opposed to a lot of the kingdoms in Oogorth, and here at Weiss, they elect a mayor as the official for the city-state. There's also a lot of diversity here at Weiss. You could come and you could see Aarakocra, you can see Leonin, Tabaxi. There's also a couple centaurs and satyrs running around everywhere. There's also large academies where people come here to study magic, especially people who want to study the ability of artifice and how to bend the weave around them using technology. There is a large artifice academy here in Oogorth, or here in Weiss. But more importantly, though, today is a very special day in Weiss, as the city halts and comes to a stop once a year. It does this only for one grand occasion, which is the Inventors Fair. Here, people from all around the kingdoms can come and present their new technologies or advancements in various areas of adventuring, archaeology, medicine. People, up-and-coming inventors and up-and-coming scholars come here to present whole talks about how to approach the famine that the heat has brought, or how to approach relations between the different kingdoms. And so far, people have begun to gather in Weiss. It becomes very packed. You would imagine Weiss is huge. It's almost as big as San Antonio. But it still gets packed with people. And in the center of Weiss, there is the trade, basically the farmers market square, which is where is the center of this this Inventors Fair. People come and they bring out their food, they bring out their wares, they try to sell to the inventors that come. Anyone who comes into the Inventors Fair will notice just a wide variety of people from different kingdoms. The Dragonborn Kingdom sends ambassadors over here with their large dragon masks, and they come in like full royal garb. You also see people from the Goblin and Kobold kingdoms. Kobolds in very uncommon for how you would imagine a kobold looking. Very clean. Their scales are very sheen, and they're wearing what looks to be noble uniforms, and they speak very proper. And they come in looking at the different wares and that the Inventors Fair has to offer. You also see goblins coming in too, tall goblins and short goblins, and then you also see them lined up and protected by what looks to be guards of bugbears and hobgoblins as well, kind of just protecting them and lining around them as they travel from stall to stall. You also see a lot of frogs and turtles running around as well. These are the grunge and the turtles that have made their home inside of Weiss. They're also the people who run the Inventors Fair. So you see a lot of turtles running around with like clipboards and writing down names and like taking down like stock of the people who come and making sure that everyone has their passes. It's like a giant convention, you would imagine. Like you have people running around making sure everyone has food, water, honored guests aren't getting into fights, and most importantly, this is a neutral place, so politics aren't allowed to be talked about here, especially not religion. You also see something that, if you're from the Forgotten Realms, would terrify you, but is pretty common in Weiss and in Oogorth itself. You see large beholders moving around the city. These beholders are decorated in armor, and they have floating clipboards in front of them. Some have monocles, and little monocles that attach to their little eye stalks as they look around at the different wares. Beholders live here as well, and they live amongst you, and they talk to you, and they're just like everybody else, even though they look so terrifying.
That's messed up, man.
They're friend-shaped, you know?
They're friend-shaped. And even as we focus on how merry and great this fair is, with music and entertainment going on, and people lining up in the... Oh, y'all can see this, can't you? That's right. I can't do sneaky DM things while you guys are watching me. You see people as people are enjoying and running around the activities and everything. We're actually going to shift focus a little bit, and we're going to start with Thornalin. Thornalin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to start with Thornalin. Thornalin, as the view kind of shifts from this adventure fair, it goes a little bit to the north of Weiss, to a large temple. This temple looks like a massive beholder, but it isn't. It's made of stone and steel. The central eye of the beholder is the doorway that leads into the main hall of this giant temple. There's large pillars that are a watch outposts that are supposed to represent the stalks of the beholder. The eye stalks are pointing in all different directions. This is where the Paladins of Oogorth live. The Paladins of Oogorth have dedicated their lives to protect the rights and privileges of beholders themselves. They worship Oog, the main beholder, who they believe was the central force that created all the other beholders. Oog went to sleep one day, and in his eternal slumber was born the other beholders from him. And the beholder gods were born. And they worship that. And they're dressed, and as we go into the temple, you see tons of very large men and women walking around dressed in what looks like copper armor. It's very spiky, as you would imagine the hide of a beholder would be. It's got large spikes protruding out of like the shoulder and like the chest piece. And in the center there is a etched out eye, the depiction of what the Paladins of the Beholders use. So they're running around, and they're kind of in a frenzy. They're whispering and talking to one another. They're saying they're whispering and talking to one another, trying to get everybody information and alert for what's to come today. Oof, that's a lot louder than I was expecting. And letting them know that, hey, we have a job to do today. Everybody seems like in a fuss. The Adventures Fair presents a unique opportunity for the Paladins of Oogorth. They are given sort of like a job. They're hired. They're not mercenaries per se, but the Paladin of Oogorth don't have a lot to do nowadays. back when beholders were first prosecuted and like fought and killed and killed like they were just like simple creatures, they defended them. But now that beholders have been kind of integrated into society, they don't have a lot to do, so they sell out their expertise. It's not so much being hired as mercenaries. They don't kill anybody for anyone, but they will guard you if you pay them good coin. It keeps them well fed, it keeps everybody well stocked, and it keeps tradition going for the paladins of the beholders. And as we go about their day and they're arguing, one paladin of the beholder ventures away from this large group and goes down a long hallway full of dormitories. Each of the dormitories is labeled like 1B, 1C, 1D, but the main dormitory name is in a language that hasn't been spoken in a very long time. It's etched out on the top, and even though they themselves don't know what it says, they house all of the up and coming recruits here. And it's in one such room that we hear someone getting ready for their day. Thorn, why don't you describe your character for us?
Okay, Thorn is roughly 20 years old. He was taken in by these people, and he stands about roughly 6.5 feet tall. He is a Tabaxi that looks like a very live panther. And as he's putting on his basically hand-me-down armor that he's gotten from somebody he basically idolizes, it's just some ring mail, but the rings aren't exactly circles; they look more like eyes. And he grabs his long sword and shield and gets ready to go out to do some guard duty or training or just whatever is lined up for him today.
And there is a day lined up for Thornolin, definitely. As you're getting ready, you hear a knock at your door.
Yes.
Thornolin, are you ready for today? Or we're getting ready to leave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see you hear another knock, and the voice asks, "Can I come in?"
Yes, sir.
A dragonborn steps in. Someone you're very familiar with. What was his name again?
I don't think I ever actually came up with a name. If I did, it's in my text.
His name is, we'll call him Soren. How's that sound?
That works.
When all else fails, go to Magic the Gathering.
There you go.
Soren walks in, and he is a very large and imposing presence. He's muscular. What kind of dragon was he again? Did you say blue, or was he black?
He was black.
His dark scales kind of gleam and reflect and absorb the light around him. His eyes, though, are very striking. The black scales really make his serpentine eyes pop out, and he has this very intimidating looking figure about him. When he comes in, he's got long whiskers and a very long neck. All dragonborn, it's very common that all dragonborn have long necks, and they have long whiskers, and they have antlers atop their head as opposed to horns. As he comes in, he looks and he says, "Aye, lad, are you ready?"
He bows his head and says, "Yes, master."
Excellent. We have a long day ahead of us. We've been hired to guard the Inventors Fair, of all things. There's going to be a lot of opportunity here. You're going to meet a lot of very powerful people. So keep your wits about you.
Yes, Master. I won't let you down.
Your relationship with Soren has always been this respect that you've had for him. And he's taken that relationship and that respect that you have for him, and he's been trying to the best of his ability, considering he has no children and he has like no immediate family. It's the Oogorth, and the Oogorth are his brethren and his family. Tries his best to be a father figure to you in the best way he can, and when he does it, it comes off not on purpose. It comes off very like stiff. He's just like, yes, good job, as he like tries his best to like push you to be the best you can be, but doesn't know how to be that figurehead for you. But he smiles and he says, all right, grab your things, and don't forget, you have your sword, your shield, make sure your armor is polished. We want to make a good impression, and don't forget your helmet.
And he grabs everything.
Excellent.
As quickly as possible.
Excellent. Make sure everything is organized in your bag the way I showed you, and don't forget your helmets. Don't forget to spray your helmet down with water. He takes out the helmet and he sprays his down. The helmets that they wear, the Oogorth wear, don't look like steel. They have like a leathery feel to them. You would know that it's actually full of eyes. The helmet of the beholder the paladins of the beholder have a eye helmet that lets them see in complete 360 vision around them. They can't be. It's how they fight in battle. And then there's a large moist looking eye in the front as well that covers both their eyes, that gives them a better line of sight when they're looking ahead of them. Yours is a hand-me-down. A couple eyes are missing, so you don't have complete 360 vision, but you do know that when you're initiated, you get a brand new one.
Alrighty.
All right, excellent. He leads you into the hallway. Everybody has kind of dispersed. The rest of the recruits have already left their rooms. You look into some of the doors that are there, and you see that the beds are made. Everything's kind of very military looking. Like beds are made. Everything looks like it's where it's supposed to be. There isn't a lot of stuff everywhere. It looks like they pack light to make sure they can move whenever they're ready. He leads you down the hallway and into the main corridor, where a lot of your superiors are there. They're gathering their things, and they're preparing horses to go to Weiss. He looks at you and he says, your horse is already ready outside. We'll ride in formation carefully around the vast wood to make sure that we don't encounter anything, dangerous coming out of that place.
Yes, sir.
All right. He shows you to your horse, a very large... Did you explain that you have black fur?
Yeah, he's a panther. So
your horse also matches your fur, a black steed for you and your black dragon mentor. And he hands you the reins, and he takes out his black steed as well, and he's like, well, better late than never, I suppose. Everyone should be arriving. And he hands you a looks like a metal sigil with the symbol of the paladins and the beholders, and he says, this is your pass for the Inventor's Fair. This is the only way you're going to be able to walk through without the guards stopping you.
And he nods and takes it.
even though we're hired, the security is tight. There's Dragonborn there, Dragonborn from the Dragonborn Kingdom, who can get unsavory at times.
And he kind of nods, says, I understand.
Excellent. As he gets on his horse, he leads the way. He looks like he's in charge of most of this command, and he takes you and you all venture off towards Weiss. When you exit, there's a massive amounts of trees surrounding you. You are just outside the border of Astwood, and he leads you down a path that is a direction towards Weiss itself. But moving from there, as we leave the Paladins of Ohos, we're actually going to go somewhere closer to the Vastwood itself. A little girl has just woken up. She wants to cry, but she's not sure why she wants to cry. Large trees surround her as she kind of wakes up in between the Vastwood and the eggs and the border. The Vastwood almost seems to have released her, but the trees seem to curl towards her to kind of like pull her back in. She's not scared though, but she is sad, and she's not sure why. Hey, babe, why don't you introduce your character?
Oh, okay. Well, just imagine like the cutest possible changeling 10-year-old girl. Like just like weaponized cuteness. All right. Just slightly shorter than she should be, with eyes just a little bit too big, for that like extra cute. And that's it. She's also wearing a very pretty sundress. Her name is Lucy. She's adorable. That's her personality trait too. She's cute.
I'm already ready to kill for her.
I don't know if anyone told you.
She expects you to.
Cute's not a personality type?
Cute is a personality type. The only one I have. My character around it.
You wake up on the closest border of the Vastwood that's the closest to Weiss. You don't have a lot of stuff on you. You're not sure where you lost it at. You're not sure why you're laying on the ground, and you're not sure why you're sad. And there's a deep, deep emptiness that you feel. But look, Weiss is right next to you.
Oh,
you see a bunch of people. You see a bunch of people filing in. No one has stopped to help you. Weirdly enough, people have driven by you. But as you kind of stand up and you see people looking at you, no one seems to want to approach you. They all have this weird look of disgust on their face.
Oh God, I've gone too cute. I've hit the uncanny valley.
A procession is in front of you of people in vestments. They look almost like you. They have humanoid. They have human-like features. But there's something off about the way that they how human they look. Similar to how human you look.
Is there anybody in the crowd that would be categorized as a daddy?
Daddy.
Roll for daddy.
Roll for daddy.
Oh, I have advantage.
Anyone who would be categorized as a daddy, you mean buff and with a beard, or people with children?
I mean, this is a 10-year-old girl and she's looking for a father figure.
There are a lot of could be father figures. I mean, gauging if someone has the paternal instinct is very difficult, and there aren't a lot of children running around. So maybe like there's some really buff guys that walk by. There's some Dragonborns. There's some orcs that walk by as well. There's some beefy Aarakocras.
Are there any what are they called? Tabaxi, you know?
Any Tabaxi? Roll me a perception check. And then
First I have to learn how to read. Hold on. 3?
3.
Yeah.
You don't see any Tabaxi, but roll me a history
even-
check also.
Not even a large house cat.
No.
History 12.
12. You know, and it comes to you in a very like something you've known forever. Catfolk, as you would know them, are predominantly in the like closer to the kingdom of air, and then on top of that, any Tabaxi would be inside Weiss already, because there is a colony of Tabaxi and Leonin inside Weiss. They have no reason to be leaving Weiss at the moment.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk up to the nearest adult, as every child should do when they are lost and confused.
You go to the nearest adult. Let's see.
And I just stare at him. Just,
where are my dice?
Sir? I need
Vernon
help.
role playing a child is really funny.
Sir?
Sir?
Mr. Adult?
First of all, your first impressions at the adult that you're approaching, the satyr looks at you and is like, nope, and V-lines in the other direction. However, you do see, and Sasha, why don't you describe your character?
So what you see is, I don't know how tall horses are, but like averagely sized Centaur. I'm confusing myself today. She has like a light brown coat, and therefore her hair is too. But she looks really, how do you say it? She looks dirty, like her shirt is really like ragged and ripped. But she looks like she has a heart of gold. Maybe.
And how's your memory, Sasha?
No idea. There was woods, and then there wasn't.
Sasha was doing something in the woods at one point. Not that they remember. But Lucy, you do see Sasha, and Sasha looks like she has a heart of gold.
Horsey. I always wanted a pony, I think.
Can't remember, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to go up to the very ragged looking centaur with a heart of gold. Hello?
People seem to be
my
giving
God,
you
those eyes.
people seem to be giving you a large like berth. Like they're not getting near you two. Lucy, roll me a insight check.
I did mention that Lucy has just like the lowest wisdom, right?
She is a child, I would imagine.
16.
16. They're scared of you both.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, because I'm just so stinking adorable.
It's true.
two large men. I think they're, let's see, two large men. You know they're men because they declare themselves like male as they walk up to you. It's like, we are men.
As we all do.
As we all do.
I love the society where everybody just like introduces themselves with their pronouns. This is great.
It makes it easier for everybody, honestly.
Female, nice to meet you, sir.
They walk up to you and they're in full armor and they're like, in the deepest voice possible, they're like, what's a woman and a little girl out here doing all by themselves?
Having a good day?
You know, it's really dangerous out here for immigrants like you.
Look at the weather. It's so nice.
I'm wearing my cutest sundress.
Yeah, look at her.
Look at me. I do a little twirl.
I clap.
They kind of get in a little closer, uncomfortably close to both of you. And they say, maybe you should just come with us.
To where?
Oh, to our caravan right outside Weiss. We can give you
Secondary
shelter.
location?
Oh my god, a caravan sounds so fun. Lucy doesn't know about secondary locations. Take me away, boys.
As they kind of reach out a little bit to touch you both, a tiny green hand grabs the large red hand that's reaching out to you and cups it into their tiny hand. And from behind them, a tall goblin walks up, taller than normal because they're about the size of what you'd imagine a halfling to be. They're not super short like regular goblins. And this one looks like it's got intelligence in its eyes as opposed to straight madness, and pulls the hand closer to them and goes like, "Oh, you found them for me. Thank you." This goblin pats the back of the other one and is like, "Thank you. I really appreciate you finding them for me." And the goblin walks up to you, Sasha, grabs your hand and grabs Lucy's hand. It's like, "I was worried you were lost. There's so many crowds here. Just, oh my gosh." This goblin has a long scarf that's about as tall as its body. It's wearing what looks to be leather armor, and it's all in various colors. It was mashed up together, and sewn with a weird, disgusting a thread. It smells a little bit too. You're not entirely sure why, and you're not entirely sure what this goblin scarf is actually made out of, as it touches you and it feels rough like fur, but it has it kind of has that bounce like cotton or wool. The goblin grabs both your hands and is like, "Come with me. Come
How
on.
is she
Okay.
grabbing your hands?
Let's go. I was worried you were lost. Come on. You see the two guys just watch as the goblin leads you away with this look of disdain and sheer fury. They kind of melt back into the crowds of people coming into Weiss, and if you're still watching them, you lose sight of them immediately.
Oh, Lucy is more concerned about her new best friend with the dope scarf.
She's like, "I love your sundress."
Thanks, I love your weird material scarf. And she's petting it. Just
Thanks. It's made of 100% shedded Tabaxi fur and shaved off Leonin mane.
kitty.
Look how it feels. And she pushed it against herself.
Ooh. It's so soft.
She's like, you guys were in a lot of danger there,
No, I don't know.
Luckily,
Tell me more.
Luckily, you had Rena with you. Rena will protect you. Rena will show you Weiss. Rena was immigrant once too.
Who's Rena?
Who's Rena?
I'm Rena. Rena is me.
Rena?
I am. Now come on. We gotta get you food and clothing and oh my god, what are you wearing? And she looks at Sasha. She's like, we'll get you a shirt and armor, maybe. I don't know. I have no money, so and she just
And maybe you can let me borrow your scarf.
No, my scarf. I made it myself. You know how long it is? You know how long you have to wait for a Tabaxi to shed this much?
I don't know. Sharing is caring.
Well, maybe we find another Tabaxi. We can see how long it takes them to shed. Now, come on.
No, I don't know.
She like leads you. You weave through the crowds as much as you can weave through a crowd. I mean, they are giving you a wide berth anyway, but these are large crowds. But for some reason, Rena knows her way around like the different like corners of them and like takes you through. And even though you're a horse and the tiny girl and the goblin, no one really prevents you from entering Weiss.
I'm just too cute. They're afraid to get close to me.
As she goes through the gates of Weiss and like opens like the entry area that you're like going through, you're met with this sight of this massive buildings. The Aarakocra are like flying over these skyscrapers, and there's just a bunch of people lined up selling things, trying to catch your eye as you walk by. Chattering. Buy this. We have wares if you have coin.
I pat my dress down for pockets and money.
Now I know you're not playing a real. Well, like I know you're not playing a real character because we all know sundresses don't have pockets.
You never know. Back in ye olden fantasy times, every dress had a purse underneath in the shift.
And as Rena leads you through, you kind of get lost in the crowd as she leads you somewhere into Weiss. Where? You don't know. Not like you all can remember where you were going anyway.
I definitely remember having a basket of apples. Where are my apples? I was out picking apples.
You don't have a basket of apples. You have a bag, though.
I have a bag, but no apples?
But no apples.
Man, something mysterious must have happened in those woods.
Speaking of something mysterious happening in the woods, and speaking of not remembering, you just racking your brain. Like you hit your head a little bit. And you're like, what was I doing? Iron Silk, why don't you describe your character and why they're so confused?
Let's see. All right, so Iron Silk is standing outside of the vast wood. He's an air genasi. His hair kind of just curls around him like it's a cloud of smoke. It just continuously begins flowing in the air, and he kind of follows it. He worships the god of wind, and he goes wherever the wind directs him. And occasionally that shows up by his hair leading up where it's gonna go. In this case, it led him to the wood, but it kind of just falls flat. And at this point, he's directionless. He is just looking around, but he sees the wood and he gets a really bad feeling, like a familiar feeling, a bad feeling. He decides maybe not that way. But yeah, so right now Iron Silk is trying to find somewhere to go, looking for guidance. Is that caravan or like that procession passing by him as well?
Yes. You just missed Lucy and Sasha also. you are a little bit up more ahead, closer to where closer to like one of the edges of the gate that surrounds Weiss. Your hair lifts up and the wind goes ooh, as it points in the direction of Weiss. Maybe Weiss is the place to go. Who knows?
Well, that's where the wind's taking me. And then I just start making my way over, following the procession.
But speaking of which, though, you also don't remember where you got this book that's in your hand.
This is new. I go ahead and I examine it. What does this book look like?
It's leather bound. It has a name on it etched at the bottom. You kind of look at it and you're like, is it and you say it really loudly to yourself. You're like, Dimi, really loudly. And from behind you, you hear yes, as a satyr walks out of the vastwood right behind you. Dimi, why don't you describe your character?
Okay. So Dimi is 5'1", rather short, and he has dark brown fur, but he has like a leather jerkin on, and his jerkin has like a little. It's kind of like a skirt. It's just like a part of the jerkin, and it has like pockets and things. And for some reason, he always has a cup of wine in one hand, and on his like left hip, he's got a pan flute. He's got some golden hazel eyes that he likes to keep eye contact eerily long when he's talking to you. And so you're saying that I come up, Dungeon Master, behind him?
You come up right behind him. The book that he has in his hand seems to belong to you. Where the book comes from, you're not entirely sure. What's the last thing you remember? Actually, you don't remember anything. But I'm pretty sure you had a reason to be here, right?
And as Iron Silk says Dimi's name, he says, "Well, hello, Dimi, not Dimi, Dimi, and I believe this is my book."
Oh, this book is yours?
Yes,
Have we
it is.
met?
I don't remember, but I think I was in Zavastwood, and obviously I was drinking and reveling, and you stole my book.
No. No, you must have dropped it. Well, I go ahead and subconsciously I cast Gust, and I kind of like use my hair to just pass it back to him gently. And then I say, well, here you go.
Thank you.
The book is, like I said, unfamiliar to you. There's etchings in that look like they've been carved in with a knife of some sort, in the leather bound, in the front, on the front, and it's like symbols you don't recognize off the top of your head. To me, I'll let you roll an Arcana check or a History check if you'd like, but you don't recognize them initially, though.
Okay, let me roll Arcana. That is a nat 20, so 22.
Okay. Well, it's coming back to you a little bit, I guess. You look at the symbols, and they have the way that they're curved, and the way that they're like the sharp points towards the top of them, and like the circles that are kind of like mixed in with the symbols, kind of remind you of the sacred symbols of the beholders, but you're not entirely sure why this book would belong to you. Even it looks like Dimi, your name, has been hastily sketched into the leather with the knife as well. The book is empty. You open up the book, it's full of blank pages, except for one towards the very end. And when you open it, it says pilgrimage, written in a red substance that you're not entirely sure what it is. It isn't blood, though. You would know if it was blood.
Okay.
Stopping that line of questioning right there.
Are we sure it's not blood?
I'm positive it's not blood. But it's a red substance that you don't recognize, and it just says pilgrimage. It's also misspelled. There's no L in there.
Okay. So it's Pimigridge?
Yes.
Got it.
But when you first read it, it reads out pilgrimage. But you'll notice that the L is missing.
Okay.
Somebody took the L.
This is the L. Ironsilk, you gonna head over to Weiss?
Yeah.
That's where the wind's taking you. Like another gust, warm and like dry, like goes against your skin, takes your hair. It points in the direction towards Weiss dramatically. Where is this wind coming from?
Oh, I am wind. I go ahead and I look at Dimi and I say, so you said you're from the Vastwood? I just
Yes.
remember standing in front of it.
Oh yes, I'm from the Vastwood, but I don't think I want to go back. It seems I wanted to say your hair. It's like an arrow pointing to Weiss.
It tends to do that. Would you like to join me?
Yeah, I have nothing else to do. Let's go.
As you two are talking, there's a feeling of camaraderie between you two, though it's not. You're not sure where it's coming from. Like it's just there are no memories of each other, but you feel like you've met. So it's just tra-la-la-la to Weiss.
I subconsciously give him like a pat on the back with my hair. And then we just walk on by.
It's the same occurrence that happened with Lucy and Sasha. As you walk out into the into like the procession that's going into Weiss, you notice that people are giving you a wide berth as well. Since Lucy already rolled the insight check, you also notice that the people are looking at you with disdain.
And I kind of just I ignore them mostly, and I assume subconsciously we know each other's name.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
You're aware that you know Ironsilk's name, and he seems to have forgotten yours though. It's weird.
Well, he just read it on my book. I think he knows my name is Dimi. But Ironsilk, if you would like, I have another glass. And he pulls out another glass out of his like skirt. It's a little bit smaller, more of like a shot glass. And he just pours a little bit of his wine. And he says, if you'd like, it's easier to ignore people with these.
Yes, please. Thank you. I go ahead and I take the glass and I just give it a little sip, kind of swirling it around. And I take a look at some of the people, and the ones that look nice and plump, for some reason my mouth waters a little bit. And then I just think about the wood, and then I go back to just drinking it and just shake it off.
And
That's weirdly dark.
as Ironsilk and Dimi converse walking into this place that clearly doesn't want them there, they enter Weiss and see the same sight of the tall skyscraper-looking buildings. They see the Aarakocra flying above. They see the lines of people passing, rows of wares that people are selling, various items, food, clothes, and you all walk into the crowd as well, lost in it, not sure where you're going, but going anywhere the wind takes you.
Do I see any other satyrs around?
A roll of perception check.
That's a 17.
A 17. You do see some satyrs walking around. These satyrs though are wearing togas. They have like long white togas, and they have these good track. These crowns of what looks like either a like vine or some kind of root around their head. They're holding large books with them, and you see that they're engaged with a number of younger looking citizens of Weiss. As you kind of look at them a little closer, you notice that they're giving what seem to be history lessons about Weiss and what's been going on. One particular satyr that's close to you, you hear him discussing, and he's like, "Yes, yes. The long ago there was this changeling, you see, who waltzed into Weiss and demanded a sum of money for her kingdom. When they would not give it to her, she cracked a mirror like a hag and threw the shards into the air, reflecting the sins of all the people around her. And everyone was in dismay and despair. And everyone's like, ooh, like, sorry?
And I'm gonna look at Iron Silk and go, I know my people, Zeviad. Let's move. I don't want to play with them.
Zeviad. And as you go into the wade into the crowds, we're actually gonna take a break from you as you get lost in the majesty of Weiss, and we're gonna go to a tiny but well kept house, and this house is for a very wealthy and powerful Leonin who lives here, and he is great and he is mighty, and he has statues of himself all around the house. And as we go into like the large window that overlooks most of Weiss, there's just trophies lined up of different competitions of various sports. You see that there's like a long elfwood table inside his like living area, and like leather seating, and there's strange technologies all around. You see him like prancing around, trotting around, getting ready for the Inventors Fair. He puts on a deep red cloak and a dark purple dark royal purple pants, and leaves himself completely shirtless with scars all down his chest, and he has one scar across his face. And Butterbeans, will you announce your character as they walk into the room, carrying a platter and dressed in what looks to be a butler uniform?
Yes. So Butterbeans is also a Tabaxi. He is of the Tabaxi lineage, but appears to be of a descent that is a bit more domesticated. Certain Tabaxi lineages were popularized, I suppose, and were so he looks more like closer to like a sand cat or a regular house cat. He also has black fur, but he's more of like a tuxedo cat, and he has a patch of white fur over his muzzle, which makes it look like he has like a permanent mustache on his face. And he's just very proper. And he, as like the Leonin is just kind of like dashing around the room and everything. Butterbeans is standing at his 7 feet tall height. He's very lithe, and he's just like standing with like very balanced on his feet, and just kind of like taking the Leonin's like actions in stride. He's just very level-headed. He's just kind of like watching the Leonin out of the corner of his eye as he darts around his room.
And the Leonin makes a show of it indeed. He knocks over like platters that you've given him. He's just very, very excited about meeting royalty from outside of Weiss itself.
As he like knocks down platters and stuff, Butterbeans is just kind of like waving his hand, and you see like a mage hand like catch the platters and stuff that are like tumbling around, and like he just like very deftly like just like sweeping after the after the Leonin after him, just fixes the plates, fixes the carpet as he kicks it around.
Ronan, which is the Leonin's name, looks at you and he's just said, Butterbeans, royalty will be here. Grand royalty. I'll finally be able to meet the Dragonborn kings and queens who come to this petty place. And I could be royalty myself, don't you think?
I do think so, sir.
Butterbeans. Loyal Butterbeans. When I am a true king, you will have all of the riches that you ever truly desire.
That is so cute.
He like strides forward and grabs like a large satchel, and he grabs a circlet and puts it over his head. He kind of like scrapes his claws through his mane and like pushes it like against his face. And he looks at you, Butterbeans, and he says, "Well, I'm off. Just don't wait
and
up, I guess.
Sir.
Don't wait up, I guess." And oh yes, and he like grabs like the food with his bare hands. And he just goes. Oof.
It's just like a piece of fish, like cooked fish on some toast.
He's just like, oh. And he's like, yes, my lineage will be preserved.
I imagine it looking so nice and fancy, only for him to just take it by the mouth.
But Butterbeans is just like with a napkin, just kind of like brushing the crumbs off of his shirt and stuff. Just like very, very prim and proper.
Thank you, Butterbeans, my loyal and worthy servants. I appreciate you. And he like pats you on the back, and then he's like, "Don't wait up," and he goes out the door. However, this is an important day for you also, Butterbeans. The plate that you're holding, underneath, you can feel your fingers touch a letter that you've been stashing away in the underneath the platter that you were holding the fish in. You flip the platter over, put the platter under your elbow, and you open the letter. And inside, in a very strange code that you've taught yourself over and over to read, it says, "Butterbeans, we strike at midnight. The Leonin scum will be put down. Signs, a friend."
Butterbeans just kind of like very, very like carefully tucks it away and puts it in his jacket.
You got friends in interesting places, Butterbeans.
Sure
Friends
does.
who are watching your moves and watching to make sure you're taken care of. And you also have a interesting rendezvous with someone at the Inventors Market. How will you go, Butterbeans, so no one sees you?
Let me think. Well, So he's supposed to go and not be noticed?
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose that he could probably don like if like you said that there's like people wearing like masquerade masks and stuff like that.
Yes.
He could likely dress himself up as one of the event goers and wear like a paper mask of some kind.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the perfect disguise. Mm-hmm. Do you have it made already? Do you have the mask ready?
I'm gonna assume that because he had this letter and he kind of suspected that things are going to be happening, he would have it prepared.
Excellent. You don your mask. You don a coat. You hide you practice your non-elegant gaunts across the the living room and like the dining room area, and you're like, yes, this is the perfect disguise. Mystery awaits, Butterbeans, right outside the
Yes.
door.
I'm so
Yeah,
shook.
yeah. He makes sure that the house is all nice and neat and locked up, and that the dishes are taken care of before he goes. But um as like he leaves the home, he just kind of like disappears into like the crowds that are active on the streets.
And as you do that, you get lost in the crowds. No one pays you any heed or attention, and no one can recognizes you. And as you go, Thornelin, you and your caravan arrive into Weiss. Roll me a perception check as you
A
arrive.
perception check.
Yeah,
You're gonna make me read.
I am.
Oh, god damn it. Let me see. Perception. That is an 18.
An 18. You notice, and Soren notices also, as your caravan reaches the gate, and you all dismount and tie your horses and have your horses taken care of and put in tied near the entrance. There is a large group of Dragonborn who have made made kind of a blockage into Weiss. These Dragonborns, as opposed to Soren's dark black scales, have golden and blue scales all across their neck and their head, and they have large antlers. They also have a very large mask kind of over their face that depicts like a roaring dragon. All of them are geared for battle and have heavy armor on them, glistening with gold. In the front of them, though, seems to be another kind of Dragonborn. Same, so long neck, same antlers and everything, but he's not in armor. He has what look to be vestments, but they glow with arcane energy. He's not trying to hide that this is enchanted vestments, and he has a sigil of a beholder on his chest. Soren looks at him and says, "That's not good."
So I don't recognize these Dragonborn.
You can roll a history check. Actually, no. Roll me a religion check. If you would.
Religion.
Yeah, as a paladin, you probably have a good sense of this religion.
Yeah. Okay, that's a 16.
A 16.
Yes.
You know that that symbol is associated with the god of fire, and that means that these dragons are directly from the kingdom with the noble Dragonborn are from. This is from with names, and I write them down, and I don't remember sometimes. This is the order.
Yeah. Okay, so I look at Soren and I say, Troublemaster?
Trouble indeed. I don't understand why the order is here. They don't usually partake in these things. And he looks, and he kind of like gives like a side signal to all the other hosts, and they all kind of like grab and like kind of put their hands on their hilt and like keep it there like at the ready, because as he points out, he kind of like looks at you and kind of points his head towards further down, you realize that this Dragonborn from the Order has an army behind him. What you thought were just a couple of Dragonborn soldiers, there are masses of them following behind.
Oh boy. Okay. So I look at Soren and ask him if he wants me to scout ahead.
He looks at you and he says, "Yes, that's a good idea. Make your way into Weiss and be cautious and just keep an ear out to make sure that you locate the mayor and make sure the mayor's safe. We'll scout out why there's a army here in the first place. Perhaps a royal procession. Perhaps major royalty is coming. Maybe they're bringing a holy artifact. I just don't like the fact that there is a Dragonborn army at the gates of Weiss."
And I nod and I put my hood up over my helmet and kind of keep my head down and try to stealth my way in.
It's roll a stealth check with advantage.
Dokie. And I will take the 19.
19. You blend into the crowd. You like melt into it. There's so many people here that it's very easy to kind of blend in with everyone. Along with your hood and with your cloak, most people can't tell you apart from the host or someone who's just one of the regular guards that are working the event.
Okay. Would I know where the mayor's house is?
You would, but the mayor is probably not going to be at the mayor's house. So your best bet is to go towards the farmers market area, the market square where the Inventors Festival is like truly going to be like going
the
on.
Speeches and everything like that.
Yeah, the speeches and everything. You do know, however, based on the itinerary, because Soren would have prepped you about it, that the mayor is giving a speech in a little bit in the market square.
Well, that's where I'm headed.
Speaking of which, as Soren makes his way towards the market square, Ray, Lucy and Sasha, your goblin companion, has led you in a very weird path. It looks like she's like stopping at places that are closed for the day. Immigration offices, immigration affairs, reculturing, like rehousing. All the places that she's visiting are places that she's insisting that you should go immediately, considering you just came out of the Vastwood, but they're all closed. And she's like, "Huh. Well,
Oh, why?
I think something's going on today."
But like, why do you want us to go to these places?
Well, you have to register, of course. You can't
But
just crawl outside of the Vastwood, and like, it's dangerous for people who aren't registered.
Well, don't I need like my parents' signature or something? I am a minor.
That's precisely why I'm trying to get you here.
Were you like, you don't know us?
No.
Are you just being nice?
Oh, yeah. Those people were going to sell you for meat.
Oh, thank you.
I would make a really cute steak.
Oh, you totally would.
They're poachers. Usually people who wander out of the Vastwood are so out of it that some people are sold for meat. And most people wander into Weiss.
That's weird. So, is there any way to contact my parents and then figure out if they'll let me sign up to live here?
Oh, sure. What's your parents' name?
Mary and John.
Mary and John. Well, I can guarantee you with 100% certainty, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat this in any way, shape, or form, but I don't know who the hell those people are.
Yay.
Well, they're really important people where I'm from, I think. They're
they
important to me.
Are they in the Vastwood?
No.
What's the best
Where
one?
Where you all came out of. Everyone who leaves the Vastwood never remembers how they left the Vastwood. No one
mean the
remembers
apple
why
orchard?
they went in the Vastwood. No one remembers why they left the Vastwood. Nobody remembers anyone who left in the Vastwood. Hell, you all could have families, children, pets lost in the Vastwood, and you would never know.
I could have a child?
A lot of people wander in there after getting a divorce.
Am I divorced?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I left my parents' house to go to the apple orchard to pick apples. That's all I remember.
Apple orchard? What's an apple?
Well, it's this big red thing. It kind of looks like an apple.
We have prickly pear? She pulls out a prickly pear.
No, that's not it. But close. It is definitely not meat.
She takes out a journal and she's like, apples. Question mark. And she's like, I don't know what that is, but maybe if we talk to, I know they might all be at the my memory's not what it used to be. That large square in the center of the city.
The town square?
Yes, but it's where they sell. It's where all those people come with their machines and their things that go and go and go.
Like a tractor.
Yes. I think. I don't know. You want to go?
Yeah.
She looks at you, Sasha.
Yes.
Are you okay? Did you all have anything on you that might indicate where you came from?
I have a rabbit's foot.
Well, I mean, are you a hunter?
My name is sewn into my socks.
Lucy, reach into your bag.
Oh, I have a bag. Okay.
Inside your bag, there is a large eye. It's like a golden large eye full of a black liquid. It's, as you upon closer inspection, it's a bottle that's shaped like an eye full of a black liquid. You're not sure how it got there.
Do I know what it is?
I mean, you can open it.
I'm just gonna put it back and look for like something else in the bag. Maybe an apple.
Inside the bag, there is no apple,
No.
but there is a tiny rag doll made of straw and rags.
Gertrude.
And
I missed her.
you take it out, and yeah, you're like, Gertrude, I missed. But as you touched it, you feel an overwhelming sense of, like joy. You're holding it against you, and it feels. It's like when you're in front of a large group of people and everybody's cheering for you. That's what it feels like.
It does happen often. I'm so cute.
As you hug it and you listen real close, you can hear them praying. It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I put it on my head. I just said, oh wait, I'm wearing a hat. Yeah, I put it under my hat.
And the goblin looks at both of you, and she's like, "Well, okay. The center of the city it is. Don't lose that rabbit's foot, though. We might be able to make it into stew. Anyway, come with me."
Okay, but it's dried.
Let's still make a stew.
You
By
know
the
what
way-
goes really good in stew? An apple.
Have you all figured out where you're gonna be staying for the day? And as she's talking, she isn't looking where she's going. Oh boy. She trips and falls in front of a satyr and a genasi who are also walking in a random direction. Is your satyr like? Does Dimi like get drunk from all the wine that he's drinking, or is he just a professional?
No, because you see, Demi is just a what do they call a functional drunk. We tend to drink and drink and we'll drink, and so it's more like water to me, but it could be strong to some people if they are not very careful.
Can Lucy smell the alcohol?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, she's buzzed. She's off her ass.
Just buzzed off the smells. And as this goblin falls to Demi and Iron Silk's feet, she's, oh wait, hello. Well, you were tall, and now you're on the floor. It's okay. Some of our friends do the same thing, and he helps her up.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. Would you like some wine? And he's already pouring into the shot glass. Here, this will help. Since you already are clumsy, it won't matter.
No. She like doesn't take the glass. She looks at you and she's like, "I never complain."
Oh, well.
As he's doing that, as he tripped and startled Iron Silk, he cast Thorn Whip into the ground, like right next to where she had fallen, and hopes that nobody noticed.
And
by the way, Thorn Whip is just like his hair just kind of stabs at something and pulls it towards him. But
Iron Silk, your hair, wait, it hit the ground? I don't know. Maybe you should brush it a little bit. It could get dirty.
Sorry about that. Just got caught off guard.
Sasha and Lucy, you just see your goblin guide interacting with these two very interesting characters.
Lucy's thirsty. Can I have some, Mr. Satyr, please?
I don't see why not. And he starts pouring. And if nobody stops him, he is giving the 10-year-old wine.
No, don't do that.
But why?
No.
I was younger than her when I started drinking.
Sasha, I can feel that you have a heart of gold, and I am so thirsty.
I
No,
suppose this is a
I
dire
have a
situation.
as well.
You can have some of my water.
Do you want water?
I go ahead and I take the wine that was offered to her. Well, she won't
Okay,
take
perfect.
it.
Here you go.
The goblin looks at all four of you and she's just like, do you all remember anything at all in the last couple days?
Well,
Let's
I often don't remember much, but no, I remember I was in the vast food. Well, at least I think I was in the vast food, and then I met Iron Silk not too long ago.
Yes, I remember. Let's see. I'm actually from Weiss, except I remember walking towards the vast wood. I don't remember why. But this all should have happened yesterday.
So, wow, there's four of you this time. Jeez.
Do we have a sense of familiarity towards the others with no memory?
Dimi and Iron Silk and Sasha, you recognize one another from somewhere. You don't know where, different time, different place. At one point, you know that you all are super familiar. nobody recognizes Lucy.
But we do know each other's names. So like Dimi and Iron Silk know Sasha, like
Yes.
as Sasha. Okay.
You know Sasha's name.
Yeah.
Sasha, you also know Iron Silk and Dimi's name, although you're not sure from where. You're not sure why. Although, one sec. Nice.
Yeah.
While that's happening, Dimi will look at Sasha and go, Sasha, why do you pick up the small child if not to have a drinking buddy?
Because she's so small and maybe probably helpless.
Well, but if she had alcohol, she would not be as helpless. She would not care.
You have
He
the
makes
tiny
valid
cup.
points.
Give her half of the tiny cup.
Okay. And he had already poured a full shot glass, so he just like takes a sip and goes, see you go.
Is this wine?
Yeah.
It is, and it would
Is it-
probably be like crazy aged wine. So I mean, it would be like a deep red, so very dry
No.
and
See,
very
I'm
strong.
picturing something more like Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, probably.
That's funny.
So it does not help the thirst in any way.
It's like no, like see this drink that is undescribed because of copyright infringement.
Yeah.
That's the color of the wine.
Oh, great. Yeah, she downs it. She just takes the whole thing and is like, did not help with thirst. Might I have some more?
In this situation, are we aware that she's a changeling? Do we know that?
Yes. You all are aware that she's a changeling. She looks like a human girl, but you all know it's common knowledge that humans don't exist.
Mhm.
Oh, it's only changelings.
Got it.
And changelings that look like humans.
No, she's not a changeling.
That's a good question. Does she know she's not a changeling?
I mean,
No,
her
she
wisdom
is-
is so low.
She introduced herself as a changeling. Jax,
Oh,
do
she
not
did.
look at me like that. My dog is judging me. Do not judge me. She did introduce herself as a changeling, so she is very aware that she's a changeling.
It's all right. Sasha, for all we know, this child you've adopted might be 120.
No, I'm 10. I'm this many.
Hmm. I don't know. I have a
How
distrust.
how tall
towards
is
you.
Lucy?
Lucy
How tall
is
are 10-year-olds?
as tall as a 10-year-old girl.
Okay, listen. When I was 10, I was 5'4". I was already like on my way to 6 foot. So
She's about
Okay.
at each of your waists, roughly.
even Dimi at
Centaur?
5'1".
Well, she's a little over your waist, Dimi, but she's about
Hold
she's
on.
about the
I'm
size
just
of
going
a
to Google
changeling, or about a size
the
of a
average
halfling.
height of a 10-year-old. I'm just going to Google it.
Because I know she's like a whole torso lower than Sasha, but
Yeah, that's true.
She is 52 inches tall.
okay.
Ah, that's
So
black.
Lucy,
see.
so less than 5 feet. So
4'3".
Dimi would just like pat Lucy on the head. Yeah, it's okay. 10-year-olds have a lot of fun, and well, I have wine, so we don't care.
Woo!
So we're keeping her?
Well, I figure. I mean, she has no parents, or do you have parents, Lucy? I don't know.
I do. Their name is Mary and John, and they
And-
live next to an apple orchard.
And where are they?
Next to an apple orchard.
Mhm.
Yes, Sasha, I do believe we will have to adapt her.
Well, this is stealing a child.
And I need to figure out how to take care of one. How often do
I
they
have
need
been
water? How often do they have to eat?
Hmm.
my diaper needs changing.
Okay,
Oh,
a 10-year-old
please
does not have a diaper. Come on now. Don't give me that nonsense.
She pulls a fresh diaper out of her bag.
Oh, Christ.
I just like to hold them.
Hit.
As you all are talking, Everyone roll me a perception check.
Everyone?
Everybody who's Lucy, Dimi, Sasha, and Iron Silk.
Okay.
Perception?
Yes.
Dimi is drinking and staring at the bottom of his wine cup. He rolled a 4.
Lucy is a 10-year-old who's drunk on fumes and rolled a nat 1.
Ouch.
Isn't it?
I got a 15.
A
Oh,
3?
thank God.
Iron Silk got a 15.
I'm
Iron
gonna
Silk-
get my real dice out because apps hate me.
Iron Silk notices it pretty quickly. There is why am I raising that volume? That's not the volume I want. Where is it? There are a lot of Tabaxi and Leonin who have a lot of catfolk who are gathered in a large group, kind of blocking a vein of the street that leads closer to the market square. Iron Silk notices it because he hears them screaming and like chanting, and they're all holding up what look to be signs, from signs of like paint written on like silk, and they're holding up signs, and it says Tabaxi are just as important. Tabaxi lives matter. And they're like holding up these signs, and they're like chanting a really like intense chant about oppression and hope.
Kitty!
Does
Something's
Iron Silk
happening
point
over
it
there.
out? Yeah.
Yeah, I go ahead and I just nudge Dimi, and I said, my friend, it looks like something's happening over down that way. I'm gonna go see what's the commotion.
And I'll start listening, and I'm sure once he points it out, like I hear the chanting and stuff, and he says, "Yes, the furry lives do matter. So let's go see what's going on. Furries, yes."
Lucy is drunkenly stumbling towards the nearest cat person. She just wants to pet it.
Ooh. Let's see.
Can I intervene?
Somebody stop this drunk
certainly
child.
try. Roll a athletics. Roll an athletics check. See if you can catch Lucy before she grabs the nearest thing with a tail.
Okay.
Do I get to roll something for it?
No, you're drunk.
I'm a monk. I got hands.
You do.
16.
16. You duck and weave, and you're able to work your way through it and grab Lucy before she like reaches out, but not before she grazes and like plucks out a piece of hair from a tabaxi that's in front of her. Butterbeans, your trip through Weiss was relatively easy. No one disturbed you, no one bothered you, and you were able to blend in with everybody else with your mask. Nobody asked a question, nobody had a concern until that stupid little brat plucked a patch of fur out of your tail. And ow.
So Butterbeans is kind of using the crowd as a way to kind of maneuver through, and he stops like a moment just to see like the commotion that's going on, and not realizing that there was a child reaching for his tail. He kind of steps forward and like feels the yank of the fur just be removed from his tail. And he doesn't actually cry out in pain or anything, but he does stop very, very quickly and turns and stares down at her. He's like at least like she's like because he's so tall. She's like she is actually at his waist, and he's just like looking down at her from behind like a paper mask, and so he sees like I guess he sees like this human face.
Yeah, with big eyes and a drunken disposition, being held
Yeah.
back by a centaur.
She's like wall-eyed at this point, just each
Okay.
very large eye in the opposite direction,
So
swaying a little bit.
since I already grabbed her, I should like toss her.
Toss it.
Body, add my
Throw
body.
her into a fountain.
And we're done.
Ooh, Sasha, my turn. My turn.
Everybody starts tossing. I puke.
Oh no! Why?
The girl puking immediately gets his attention. Like his the dog. I'm sorry, the dog.
Oh.
Drax, can I help you?
Hmm.
Sorry,
Alright.
the dog is so distracting. No, so the young girl puking immediately gets his attention. He's like, oh dear. And he waves his hand with prestidigitation to immediately like clean the mess that she creates. He's like, oh my.
Lucy takes the hair that she plucked out and stuffs it up under her hat.
He discreetly doesn't acknowledge that, but he says,
Wait, you stuff it under your hat?
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw. Or roll me a hold on.
Sleight of hand.
No. A
Gertrude likes to hold on to hairs.
because there was something in your hat already.
Oh,
Gertrude.
Yay.
When you pick up your hat, you actually don't need to roll me anything now that I think about it. Dimi, Sasha, and Iron Silk, roll me a perception check to see if you see Gertrude.
that's
I
a
got an
16.
11.
A 16 and 11, Sasha.
Oh.
12. You all see Gertrude. As Lucy lifts up her hat, this ragdoll made of straw and cloth is sitting there, and she puts the hair on top of it. You all look at it, and you're not sure why, you're not sure where, you're not sure how, but this thing makes you very, very angry.
I walk over to Lucy, and with my hair I kind of like use it to like hold her away and like pull the hat up, and I also want to grab Gertrude and take a look at her.
Yeah, that's not happening.
excuse me. Butterbeans is
no.
like, he sees this girl throw up, and then he sees this like weird exchange happen with the group as they all turn eyes on her, and he's like, wait. So, excuse me, can I help any of you?
Well,
Yes.
actually, I would like another bottle of wine. I'm running a little low, but otherwise, I don't know.
Wait, just to be clear, that doll makes all of us angry
Yes. Well, except
Oh,
Butterbeans.
except Butterbeans.
And no one knows why. There's no reason to it. It's just the sight of it like sets off some deep. It's not like pure rage. It's just like it for some reason. It's just makes you like irritated and mad.
Mm-hmm.
Little girl,
Lucy puts the hat back down. Just
Are you all right? You seem to have stumbled upon my tail. That is all right, but I want to know if you're all right.
you look so soft.
Thank you. I'm told this.
She
I
goes
want-
to grab at the tail again.
He just kind of casually keeps it out of her reach. That's all right. And he turns to the adults and he's like, "Can I help you?"
I want to look at Dimi and Sasha and see if they felt what I felt. Can I see it on their faces?
Roll me an insight check.
Okay. I got a 12.
At 12, you saw it briefly cross their faces. How they choose to respond to the doll is up to them, but you saw the brief moment of like true DM immersion. You saw the brief vision of grr.
Robbie, why must you curse all of my characters?
I haven't cursed your character. Look, I'm trying to weave an intricate narrative. Leave me alone. And yeah, they briefly have that angry face on as they see Gertrude, but as Lucy puts her hat back on, like the feeling of anger goes away. But I mean,
Guys, we should get more wine.
You can still attempt to take Gertrude away.
You can try.
You can try. That's definitely a thing.
You'd never take a little girl's doll.
As the hat goes back on and we stop being angry, I look back at my bottle of wine and say, "Well, it's almost empty, but I have a little bit left." And I pour it and I take a sip and I say, "Sir, Furry, would you be a dear and find me a bottle of wine? You did ask if you could help us."
I could point you in the right direction, but I'm afraid I'm a bit sparse on funds. He's like squinting at you very politely, but you know, there's a bit of a razor's edge in his eyes as being called furry.
As you all are talking and discussing this bottle of wine, a Tabaxi woman steps in between each of you. She's got like she has her cat ear pierced, and she's like a orange tabby cat. She's got chubby cheeks and like she has like a long puffy tail. She steps in.
Woman.
She's a beautiful woman. Damn it. She walks in between you all, and she's like, Tabaxi lives matter. And she like hands all of you a flyer, and she's just like, "We've been oppressed for years. For years, the Leonin have overseen how we act, where we are politically. They've even tried to commandeer our children and eat our Tabaxi young.
I'm sorry, what?
They're monsters."
And I just I take the flyer and I look at it. What does it say on there?
It has a red like lion head insignia, and it says the Tabaxi Coalition, and it's like join now. It also has a meeting place at the market square. Apparently a prominent member of this group is going to be speaking there, and it has like times listed on it.
Okay. And I know Tabaxi. So I'm gonna in perfect Tabaxi I will say, well, as much as I love Tabaxis and I do want to help, I do believe that you put a Leonin on your flyer instead of a Tabaxi. It's a little misinformation. I think you might want to fix these.
That's not a Leonin. That is a tiger's head. There is no mane on that cat.
Well, I'm drunk. It's fine. And he takes another swig, and he looks at the flyer, and he looks at the location and time. He says, "Well, if we can all make it, we will go and we will help the cause of the Tabaxi." And he looks at Butterbeans. Is like, are you going to be there as well?
Of course. Oh, sorry.
I think he's so he's referring to Butterbeans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just enjoying the festivities, but I suppose this display is of interest to me, being a tabaxi that I am.
Roll me an insight check, Butterbeans.
Butterbeans?
Yes.
On who?
You roll an insight check, Butterbeans.
On who?
Oh, on the girl who's handing out the flyers.
Oops. All right. Looks like got a 16.
As she's handing you one of the flyers, the way she approached you was in this very like, outraged, like, we need justice now, and like it's very easy to caricature her. Like she seems to be like over, not overreacting, but like over emotional about everything. But when
Yeah.
she hands you the flyer, Butterbeans, her face goes entirely serious, and there is a you get a sense of that how she's behaving is a front as opposed to how she actually acts. And as she hands you the flyer, your flyer is a little different than the rest, and it has a encoded letters. It says be wary, be wary, lots of guards located, meaning space changed. And it has a little like insignia of a tiger's claw, and it says look for tiger's claw on door.
All right. He doesn't look. He doesn't take a moment to look at it at this moment, but he is tucking it into his jacket, just casually.
And she looks at all of you and she says, I'll see you there, or else you stand with the oppressors. And she turns around and she like walks back into the people who are protesting. Speaking of protesters, before we move on to how you all are going to react to these protesters, there seems to be an issue. They're forming a blockade to the main way of the market square, and people are trying to push by them. More importantly, Thornolin is trying his darnest to figure out how to work his way around this large group.
But they're all Tabaxi, right?
Yep, they're all Tabaxi.
And you're not gonna let me stealth by them.
You can try to stealth by them, but they're being held really close together. You can roll another stealth check to see if you can stealth by them, but they're chanting, and they're kind of locking arms, trying to block people from going to Market Square, so that way they're like directly bumping into them and having to listen to them as they talk.
Right. So he just stands up, takes the cloak off, takes his head off. He's at the back.
They look at you and they're like, "Brother, you've come to join us."
He kind of plays along. He says, "Definitely, like, let me get to the back line. I'm stronger than the rest. They'll never get through me."
Yes, definitely. Here, lock with my arm. And he puts his arm around your arm, and he's like, "Lock with my arm."
And he goes along with it until he can find the perfect spot just to kind of slip away behind him.
Let's see. As you kind of do this, it takes a little bit of time. For some weird reason, this Tabaxi, like, you don't expect this Tabaxi to be as strong as, because you have tons of training. Like, you're a paladin. You've been swinging a sword or axes like most of your life. When this Tabaxi grabs your arm and locks arms with you, there's a lot more muscle than you're expecting coming from this Tabaxi. As he kind of locks in with you, you're kind of like trying to pull away, and he's like holding you. Roll a strength check.
Okay. That is a 22.
A 22. You're able to pull away. It takes a little more strength than you would imagine it should take, and you pull away. And as you do, the Tabaxi, like his arm lets go, but as his arm lets go, he's wearing like this he's wearing cloth, and he's also wearing these what are these called? The bracelets, like a long leather bracelet. And as you pull away, his bracelet bracers. His bracer has like a secret compartment in it, and it opens up, and a thin dagger falls out with a very strange insignia on it.
Like, is he trying to wield this dagger against me?
Nope, it just falls out from him. But it's strange. Like, you pull your arm away. Huh?
What's the insignia?
The insignia is a tiger's claw.
Okay, do I recognize it?
Tiger's claw. Roll me a history check.
That is an 11.
An 11? You don't recognize this tiger's claw insignia, but the Tabaxi in front of you, his expression has changed, and he's looking at you, and he looks at the dagger, and he looks at you again, and he raises an eyebrow, and he says, "Brother, apologies." And he picks up the dagger, and he puts it back in his bracer, and he kind of seals the like secret compartment shut, and he says, "Didn't mean to drop that."
And he looks at him and says, "Of course." He says, "I'm going to get some more people to help." And I kind of walk away towards the market.
He looks at you, and he his eyes squint, and he says, behind you, and he's like, "Exactly. Loose lips. You know what they say about loose lips."
And I just kind of look at him, and I'm staring him straight in the eye. And I just kind of nod and fade into the crowd.
He just watches you like disappear. As you wade your way through, you also roll a perception check.
Perception. Excuse me. That's an 18.
18. You've been moving as quickly as you can through the crowd, but you notice Dragonborn have made their way into different corners of the city. They're not doing much, but they're the Dragonborns that like you were told to look out for. And as you're making your way towards the mayor, they've positioned themselves like at the edge like of the crowds and stuff, and kind of sprinkled themselves around the city.
Okay, have I caught sight of the mayor yet?
You have not. You're about to enter into Market Square, but it's full of people. You'd have to look for him. He's not hard to miss though. He is he looks like a toxic frog. So bright purple with black legs.
Great. So, and I'm assuming he's probably going to be on the stage.
Yeah, around the stage area. He's also has a little bow tie and wearing leather armor, so you really can't miss him.
Okay, so I'm heading towards the stage. I'm trying to get in contact with him like my mentors told me to. So
definitely. As you push through, you notice that more Dragonborn are starting to kind of close in. You get to the stage, and there is a very tall machine looking guy at the top of the stage, and he like steps in front of you, and he says, "Can I help you?"
And I stop and bow, and he says, "My mentor Soren sent me to speak with the mayor."
Soren, one of the Ojos guys that we hired.
Yes, sir.
This mechanical man, his eyes are like a deep green color. They're just bright green. There's no pupil. There's no white in it. It's just two green like slits. It looks like there's this pulsating magic that is like along the edges of his what you think is armor at first, but it's actually his skin. And he's not wearing any armor. He looks at you and he says, Ojos, the Ojos guys. Well, the mayor's preparing his speech. I hope what you're
It's very important, sir. He's in danger.
In danger. All right.
And what did he say?
He's like, all right. What kind of danger? And what kind of danger would come
and he stands up. He stands up and turns around, and he's standing by this. I'm assuming he's a warforged.
Yeah.
So he's standing by this warforged, and he looks out at the Dragonborn. He says, "Do you not see them?"
We see them, but all are allowed into Weiss during the.
Have you not seen them moving this way constantly?
He looks around.
And have you not heard of the army of Dragonborn that are outside the city right now?
We have. We thought it was just
and you don't think these are noble Dragonborn? You think they would come to an adventurous fair?
He turns around and he goes up to the stage. You see like in the corner, like huddled down, like eating like a giant worm, is a purple grunge, and he's just like.
That's so gross. I take it this is the mayor.
Yes.
And
he knocks. He's like, Mayor? Maroon. The grunge one of his eyes just like bolts and like looks at the warforged, and he's like, I'm busy. Can I help you? He kind of like bows, and he's like, Mayor, the one of the Ojos men wishes to speak to you about. He believes that there is an emergency that needs your attendance. The grunge stands up and pats himself down, like he goes, well, it better be good. I was enjoying those grubs.
And Thorn just bows and says, my apologies, Mayor. He says, I have been sent by my master Soren to warn you of incumbent danger.
Incoming danger to the Inventors Fair in Weiss on this day at this time. Who dareth?
Royal Dragonborn.
Dragonborn always causing fucking trouble. He walks up and he looks out to where, like, around the crowd. He's like, I can't see. The grunge is really short. The mayor is really, really short. He's probably about as tall as Lucy is.
Pretty tall.
Okay, so you're looking at 4'4".
Yeah. The Warforged looks at him, and the mayor just kind of nods and picks him up, and the in like a very respectful way picks up the mayor, and with one hand, and he's like, and the mayor like looks up, and he's like, oh damn it, it's the
He's like, my master told me to keep you safe, and he looks out towards the crowd. He says, we need to get you out of here.
Oh no, Weiss is my city. No fucking Dragonborn are going to take my city from me. And also, I'm not entirely sure that this is that kind of thing. I don't know. You didn't see any Dragonborn royalty rolling around, did you?
That's, and he looks out of the crowd and says, "Can't you see them?"
I mean, I can, but Dragonborn come from all across the land during the Inventors
No.
Fair. What?
And Thorn just sighs.
What? If it's will ease your mind, I will. After the speech, after the initial speech that I give, which I've been preparing for weeks for, I will find somewhere to hide, I guess. I usually go to sleep anyway after the speech, but you know.
And Thorn just looks up at the Warforged. It was like, any help?
Oh, I'm already on this, and his eyes glow a green color, and you see that the liquid that runs through his very shell begins to glow as well. And you see right next to every Dragonborn that's kind of crowded itself around, a Warforged steps forward with like spears and swords.
Excellent.
And the Dragonborn kind of like look at them and they just like do a double take, but they don't seem to be like intimidated by them. They're just like sizing them up, and then they just stand next to one another. And he says, if they try anything here, my men will handle these. If there's an army out there, I'm guessing I'll start setting up perimeters out the way.
Yeah, get your people out, and Thorn looks at him and says, and if anything happens here, you grab the mare and leave as fast as you can.
The mayor, like, you all are kind of talking amongst yourself, and the mayor comes up when you say that, and he's like, my boy, I don't run. I hop, first of all. And then secondly, and his eyes glow, and he's like, I've been practicing magic my whole life. I'm not scared of a couple fucking Dragonborn, honestly. This is my city. And if Weiss is going to be under attack, we have provisions and things to handle. Dragonborn, especially stupid Dragonborn that are going to attack Weiss directly, especially during the fair. But no worries, I understand the Ohos being cautious, and we did hire them for this event anyway. We'll keep an eye out. And also, if things get bad, just stay away from the walls of the city. I'll activate the maze.
And as the mayor finishes, Thorn says, "Of course, Mayor. But I ask that while you're giving the speech, if I might stand on the stage with you."
Oh yes, of course. Definitely. There's no worries about that. But I have to warn you, if things get bad and I have to activate the maze, jump off the stage, because there will be no stage after the maze. The maze opens up. So
of course.
So just stay close to the wall if I have to activate the maze. God knows I don't want to activate the maze because it's going to take months to put the maze back where it belongs. But, anyway, the Warforged says, I'm pretty sure we won't have to activate the maze, Mayor. He's like, good, because it's a lot of infrastructure that we have to deal with. Anyway, he goes back to like a bowl that he has that's next to like a podium, and he picks it up, and you see things just wiggling around inside, and he's like, now I just want to finish like a couple more before I give the speech, so give me a second. He's like,
of course. So we step outside.
As that's going on, a as you guys make your way into the Iron Silk, Butterbeans, Dimi, Lucy, as you make your way into the center or heart of the marketplace, like getting past the Tabaxi, you see that there are a lot of tables set up with different like podium. Oh man, you can see my labelings. Whoopsie. I forgot you all can see them. Oh no, you can't see them. That's right. Never mind, you can't see them. There's a lot of tables set up with different let me move you all to this page actually. A lot of tables set up with different people selling off ideas mainly. As you walk into the crowd, a lot of people are just talking, and a lot of groups have gathered around like these people who are giving like these soapbox lectures about their new invention they've come up with. Ways to make your life easier, ways to make your life better. The heat getting too bad, we might have found a cure for the lack of cold, they say loudly. If you all want to roll a couple of perception checks, I can describe some of these technologies that are here and present, if anyone's interested. If not, there are a couple noteworthy and tall people who are giving very loud speeches that we can focus on as well. It's up to you all.
All people. Any father figures?
Yes, Dimi?
Is an 18 perception check good enough to see that hot dog stand on the map?
Yes, it is.
Excellent.
That is, even though it says hot dog stand, they're definitely not selling hot dog meat.
Damn it.
They're dragon wursts, and they're not made from real dragon. They just have a spicy sauce, enough to the guy who's selling is like enough to really burn the scales of a dragonborn.
Yes. I would like one, please.
Excellent. That's gonna be let's see, 5 copper pieces, please.
5 copper. Okay. I will take that, and I just put it on his table. Thank you.
Excellent. And he pulls out a decent sized dog, like a decent sized. It looks like a hot dog, but it's got like a bluish meat in the center.
Nice.
With like this sauce. The sauce could.
Sauce.
You look at the sauce, and your stomach already can feel the flames of hell rising out of it. It is like from the very heart of Avernus itself. It's just the sauce is so red. And it just looks so spicy.
And so Dimi takes a swig of his wine, and then just like from the bottom of the stick that he gave, he's just gonna like lick the sauce and then take a bite. Just a deep.
As you lick the sauce and you take a bite, the first hit is just full of flavor. It's got like this delicious. It's like gamey meat. Clearly some wildlife that's been hunted. You're not entirely sure what kind, but it's got this delicious like garlic and like allspice like flavor to it, and then you feel that like jalapeno spiciness at the tip of your tongue as it like radiates down all the way to the back of your tongue, and then it's just full fire. And as you take a bite, you go and you see a flame go.
And so Dibby coughs and and the fire comes out, and he's oh that was fun, and does it again, and just just keeps doing it. Like every time he coughs, like keeps going, and it like anyone who's if they're still around of the party, Dimi is visibly shaking. He does not like spice, but he thought it was fun, and he's spitting out fire, so he's going to continue to do that and just sit there and shake and it's very good, sir. I would like another when I'm done with this one, and just walks away like very hurriedly.
He's like, yes,
Lucy,
definitely.
Lucy walks up to the cart. She's still thirsty, so she points at the a bottle of the hot sauce. She's like, can I drink that? Can you pour me a glass?"
Oh, no, sweetheart, no. This is made from dragonberry, and it is rare, and it is no, and you will die.
So it's like a juice. I like
No.
juice.
You want juice? And he pulls the hot sauce away and like puts it underneath the cart, and he pulls out a blue tinted like jar, like mason jar looking thing, and he's like, "This is juice."
Is it juice now?
It is.
Is it?
It is. It's made from the pea flower. It's more of a tea juice thing.
I give
So
I give
not a
Dimi.
juice.
You give what?
I want to give Demi a look of pity as I see him shaking, trying to like force down the rest of the hot dog, and I purchase one of the juices and go over to.
As you purchase the juice, you touch it. It's warm. It's warm juice.
It's better than nothing.
I hate worm juice.
It's
and I
what?
also don't like the
No,
sound because you just said it was from the pea flower, and now I'm thinking of a warm juice from a pea flower. Just my mind is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Don't like
urine.
worm juice.
Are you sure it's not yellow?
I'm positive. The only reason it's warm is because there's no way to chill it.
That's true.
That's fair.
Forgot about that.
And so Dimi will take it from Iron Silk when he comes up, and he's thank you, here, and he like just hands you the wine and just takes a huge gulp of whatever this liquid is, hoping it will help.
By the way, that's a silver piece, Iron Silk.
A silver piece. All right, let me.
Hey Robert.
Yeah.
While this is happening, Butterbeans is gonna be looking for symbols, the tiger claw symbols on doors or something.
Gotcha. Roll me an investigation.
Investigation?
Yes.
All right.
On that note, while you're producing that silver piece and while rolling that investigation, would you all like to take a brief 10-minute break to get something to drink and use the restroom?
Yes.
Yes, that would be good.
By the way, he got a 17 on investigation.
You see something? We'll get to that when we get back. I don't know how to pause the stream, so I'm.
The only way that you'll be able to do it is we could all just cut off our cameras, and then you could play some background music, because that's what Critical Role does, is they just turn off the screen and they play music. So I'll
do that. All right, cool. All right, we'll be back after these messages.
All right.
Hey guys. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. One
Hello.
sec.
Hello.
Hello.
Mayu.
Hello.
Mayu.
Hey,
I love your hair.
thank
It
you.
looks so good.
Thank you.
Let me pick up the screen share again. Hey guys.
Hello?
Hey.
Welcome back.
Hello.
One sec.
I was gonna say we don't see you at the moment.
Mayu.
Sorry, I was I'm listening to. I was looking at the because my husband has alerted me as to something I hadn't noticed yet, and I feel kind of bad that I hadn't noticed it. So apparently, when I screen share, no one can see any of you. So when we're like all talking
Yes.
and everything, nobody could see any of you talking because I had screen
Which
share.
I don't think that we need the screen share per se, because we all have Roll20, except for Thornlin, but he doesn't have Wi-Fi, so I mean he's using Theater of the Mind anyway. So we could just be on our own Roll20s and just follow the map as you direct us.
Oh, that's
See,
true.
that's what I told Robbie. So when we're just talking, we can just do this the Zoom video of ourselves, and then only pull the map up when we're like actively using it for like battle and stuff, so
Yeah.
that people watching can see.
What happens if I do?
And I mean, once we get a little bit, bigger, and you use different programs and stuff, I know because like I've seen Critical Role do it, but obviously they have like a huge bandwidth. They've been able to like imprint the map like on the bottom, or they have a camera facing the real life map, and then they still have all the people. So that's an option for obviously down the road.
It's true.
When
I'm
we get
hoping that
Robbie a laptop that isn't run by a potato.
Exactly.
leave me alone with my
We need to
laptop
upgrade to
that's run
potato vodka.
like
Then we'll be fine.
potato.
I don't know.
No, and the other thing I also noticed that I didn't change, and that I didn't really have an option to change, and I'm not sure how I go about changing. I'll need to look into it. Our stream says Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
You'll
I don't
have
know.
to change the username from Coffee Neanderthal to, at least to Oogorth or something catchy for the campaign, just so we could have a little bit more, I guess, autonomy and marketing.
That's true. I will
Something
change my
he
name.
did not think about at all until I brought it up 30 minutes before we started.
Look, autonomy, and you can't see me. Look, I was just focused on my computer not blowing up while we were playing. So now that I can focus out of that, we'll focus on my my marketing.
I mean, everybody does realize this is like beta.
Yeah,
It's just testing everything to make sure it works.
exactly.
I feel like this is
And
more
all
alpha, but
Well, this
all the
is-
marketing and stuff's gonna come later.
I just want to make sure that I tweak it enough so that everyone's having fun. Everybody can see what's going on, and then I'm not streaming as Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the least I could do.
Robbie, this has been a blast, bud. You're doing really
has.
good.
Oh, thank you. Now, anyway, so everyone's dead. This is
oh
fun.
yeah, while
We're
we
doing
were
the
on
time
Great
Robbie
skip.
new
and I-
characters.
while y'all were on break, Robbie and I were role playing what was happening. I
We
got to
just
play everybody individually and choose your
murder everybody.
deaths.
Just some
Murder.
low rolls. And,
Everyone's
yep.
dead.
All right.
Um,
You
It
went
just changed
like
names.
the ring girl, didn't you? You started coming out of wells and shit.
Well, the way y'all reacted to Gertrude, I was pissed.
I didn't react at all, so I wasn't there.
We haven't met you yet.
Oh, don't worry. That's coming up in a minute.
Lucy never got her drink from the hot dog
Is
stand.
Lucy the BBG?
I would buy that actually.
The BBG, big beautiful girl.
Big beautiful girl. I thought it was BBEG. Big bad
BBEG.
evil guy.
Well, you know what? Thank you.
So
Robbie didn't say no.
I don't think I have to deny the claims that are made against me.
You can neither confirm nor deny whether Lucy is actually evil.
I just want to play a cute 10-year-old girl who can and will fight God. Okay, she's not evil.
That's not too much.
She wants to
ask.
punch a god.
He wants to punch a god.
Well, to be fair, there's
She-
like multiple ones. Depends on which one. She might
He
be good.
didn't say you were evil. Bernadette, maybe.
Look at that.
Oh, Gertrude. So
Gertrude, whatever the name is.
the drink goes down and doesn't do a lot to quell the intense heat that is burning in your chest and your lungs. It tastes delicious though. It's very sweet and it has a bit of a tart aftertaste. Butterbeans. You noticed I was almost gonna say a butter bear for some weird reason. I don't understand where that was gonna come from. Oh, hold on one sec. That light in the back. 1 second.
Your halo? You're such a sweetie.
Oh,
Love
he
you,
didn't even get
husband.
that.
Yeah, I only compliment him when he can't hear.
This better? Now you can see my beautiful face.
now you look like a true gamer. It's perfect.
Dark room, blinding light.
So the symbol you see is it's the symbol of the red tiger's paw, and it's on a bunch of different like locations that it's almost like it's supposed to be there, but you notice it immediately. Like you notice that it's like secret symbols, like it's on different like stalls, and there is one on a door, but right now that door is currently being blocked off by a dragonborn and a very tall, armored looking being who is kind of sizing this dragonborn up.
So they're impeding that door.
Yeah. You get the sense that they're not impeding that door on purpose. As you look around, there's a bunch of these dragonborn and large men who are like knight looking people who are guarding who are kind of sizing up the dragonborns.
Mm-hmm. What kind of building is it? Like, is it like a commerce building or just like a house or like a? Is it a business or is it a residence?
It's a let me see. Drax.
I broke the game. I asked one question.
Sorry. The dog was
One question too many.
Oh man, the one
give up.
question you
Don't
didn't
ask
prepare
about
for.
residential zoning.
How dare
This is a
you?
fantasy game.
Let me consult my book of residential zones. No, it is the house looks like it belongs to a like apartment complex. It looks like there's a lot of like apartments attached to it, and it does this. It's all the rooms have a visible like window on them, and on the very top room window you see an outline of a tabaxi.
So through the window, there's an outline of a tabaxi inside.
Yeah. Looking
right.
down at the fair. You don't recognize these apartment complexes though. They're really, really far into the city.
Okay.
Did anyone else roll a perception check on the fair?
No. Let's see.
Ooh.
Oh, I got a 25.
Okay. What were you gonna want to do, Butterbeans, really quickly before we do that?
No, I just wanted him to make sure that he has eyes on the place that he needs to be.
Gotcha. The 25 iron silk, and then Sasha, did you roll on it also?
Yeah, I got 22.
22. There's as you're looking around, there's actually some very interesting and diverse some interesting and diverse people who are giving some speeches. One of the ones that really stands out is that there's she can't really tell if she's supposed to be a true goblin or if she's a what you would imagine. They're called Verdans. They're an offshoot of goblins. They're like an evolved species of goblins. They're a little taller and a little smarter than their kinfolk. You can't tell if she's a Verdan or a goblin, but she's giving a presentation on this large dome thing behind her that has these nodes that are coming out of it. These nodes are filled with this green liquid that you've seen kind of floating around everywhere in Weiss. And it's like pumping into this giant sphere. The sphere is shaped like a brain, and it has like nerves on like the round parts of it that are filled with this green liquid. It's in a vat of like water, and you can see like sparks kind of going off of it and like reflecting off the glass and stuff. And she's like on a stool, and she's presenting it to like these onlookers. There's a couple of Vidalcan who are asking her questions about it, and you see a couple Tridents as well joining them, and they're like, hey, like how did you come about this discovery? Like, what do you think the ramifications are of what you're doing? And she goes on and she's like, I believe that the fact that I've created a cybernetic version of an elder brain will allow us to truly understand the mind. And she goes on and she says, it has no consciousness. I built it. It could be a safe haven for people to meet and grow together. And she's like talking about this very passionately around these people, but people just seem kind of shocked at the fact that she would even dare to do something so bold, so brave. You see a couple other people also talking about their discoveries. One man is presenting a version of a torch that he has created, and he's like, gone are the days that we need fire, and he says, why not instead just cut the middleman out entirely? And he like puts one on a bystander. The bystander clicks it, and these two rods appear out, and then a tiny ball of light appears in the center of them. And he says, see, torches automatically without the heat that comes from a torch. In these times and ages, we do not need extra heat. We just need to be able to light the room that we are in. A couple other people nearby are talking about living weapons, creating super soldiers, creating like super foods. You see one man showing an alignment of like these like these round pill-looking things, and he says, "Nutrients. Even though the elderberry has been extinct for so long, we can create the nutrients that the elderberry provided in these vitamins." And like they're like presenting all of these ideas. One other person you see is these two goblins. They almost look like twins. They're setting up a booth with a bunch of bones and like that look like almost dinosaur looking. Like they're like create like massive creatures and setting up these bones everywhere. And you see that the male the male goblinoid is like moving around and like looks like he's like really into what he's presenting, but the female looks really distracted, and she's holding a scroll in her hand. Iron Silk, you rolled a 25, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. Roll another perception check for me.
All right. Give me 1 second. I got a 16.
16. You see it all right briefly because you're noticing all these people, and as this girl is looking at the scroll,
Okay.
she like looks around and she just sticks it in her bag, but not before you notice the glint of the of a dragonborn insignia on it.
Hmm.
And
Does
she
this
sticks it in her bag.
insignia mean anything to me?
You can roll a history check on it.
Oof. History, intelligence. Oh, okay. I got a 16.
16. You know, because you've existed in this world, even though your memories are shot, you still have like your base knowledge that you've like grown up with. You know that this belongs to dragon, like it's a dragonborn insignia. But with your history, you also know or feel kind of that it's an old insignia, that it's not in use anymore.
Okay.
Sticks it in her bag. And yeah, that's what's going on the fair. Butterbeans, you see, you keep an eye out on that silhouette. The silhouette is keeping an eye on you.
And the Dragonborn are still blocking the door.
Yeah, Dragonborn and they seem to have stationed themselves there.
Okay. Well, he's a squishy wizard, and I don't feel like he would try to like be direct necessarily. So I'm like, I don't really know what his approach should be.
You, as you're thinking about this, we're going to cut away for a minute to another Tabaxi. The mayor is like tightening up his what he like, it's like a tie looking thing, but it's made of like wire and it blends in with his armor, and he's like tightening it anyway, and he's just like, ah, yes. Fa la 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 fa la 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 la. And you see the warforged just kind of like kind of rubs his face, and he's like, the mayor's like, I need to prepare my lungs for how awesome this speech is going to be. I have been waiting to give this speech for a whole year now. It will be great. It will be fantastic. It will be my legacy that I leave in this place.
Robbie, you wrote this speech, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool, because I want to hear it now.
Yeah.
Thorn's gonna be looking out at the crowd, make sure there's nobody else there that's a danger.
You see that the podium is overlooking this like fountain that depicts this water bearer. She has one vase above her shoulder, and the water's like pillowing out, while the other is in her the other vase is in her other hand, and it's spilling out water as well, creating this like swirling whirlpool effect around her. You also see like a bunch of people are sitting down like in chairs getting ready for this like speech and stuff. You do notice, however, a particular dragonborn sitting in the crowd. The one in the vestments with the arcane energy around him has stationed himself in the crowd and has sat down in the front, facing the podium. He's got a long staff that you hadn't noticed before. The staff has a golden dragon, a head at the top of it, and it's made of almost pure gold. It burns with arcane energy. It looks like at any moment, even like a brief like whip of static into it would unleash a full salvo of magic onto the crowd. He looks dangerous, but no one seems to be worried about him. Everybody just kind of like sits next to him. They're talking, laughing. You also see the Ojos have made their way into the crowd as well and have joined around the where the podium is, and are forming a defensive formation around the podium. You see Soren is watching this particular dragonborn intently, and he looks up at you and he gives you a nod, and he gives you like the signal to stay put where you are.
Okay. I nod back at him.
The crowd starts to like go quiet about the as the mayor starts to like get up onto the stage. As the mayor starts to like get up onto the stage. Okay, well, I guess I'm talking. And as the mayor gets up onto the stage, you see, as you're watching the mayor, also you see the people filing onto the chairs. You also see a Tabaxi, a child, a couple, like a Centaur, which aren't super common. Like it catches your eye. A Satyr and a Ganassi, all lining up together, and it's really weird. There's just a strange group that kind of stick out as well, and you're just like, what? They're kind of lining up around the area also. Make a mental note of them, because it's just everyone has like these cliques that they're kind of sticking to, and then they have these like people who are just like all together. There's also a goblin at their feet as well. The goblin looks very homeless, and you're not entirely sure how to approach that line of thinking just yet.
Did she fall again?
Did she fall? No, she's just walking around. What? She's a homeless goblin. I don't know what you want from her. As everybody kind of gets quiet, and the clapping begins as the mayor stands up on the podium. The mayor opens up his speech with a direct congratulations on the accomplishments of the year. He says, "I am truly grateful for being the mayor of such a prestigious and wonderful place such as Weiss. The ingenuity that comes from the blood of this place, the people, the artificers, the wizards, the library here, just all of the knowledge that accumulates here is truly, truly glorious. And as we come together for this inventors fair, and we think, what is the next thing that will lead us into another golden age for Weiss? Sure, we've had our troubles, but what is the next genius idea that could push us into that renaissance? He says. He's like doing this hand thing because he's a frog. But as he says that, a sharp laugh radiates into the crowd, and the mayor stumbles and he's like, "Oh, what?" And he goes as his throat extends out, showing that he's annoyed. The laugh grows louder, and you realize that it's especially you, Thornlin, realize that it's thaumaturgy. It's someone's expanding their voice to make the laugh louder than it's supposed to be. And you see that golden dragonborn, the one in the vestments and with the arcane magic, stand up. He's wearing a glorious Lin Dragon mask that frames his head, makes his eyes seem hollow and black. And he stands up and he says, "Glorious age for this place of sin, you say?" He looks around, he says, "This place is pathetic. It stands behind war, and with no glory of war, no sacrifice for the gods themselves." And he looks up at the mayor and he says, "And they house heathens here." And he points at the mayor and he says, "Where are they? Where are the ones who took from the church? We will have what belongs to us." The mayor just looks at him and with a loud croak, he's just like, "You can leave now, Ribbit." The Dragonborn laughs again. He says, "You pathetic people here. Seize all that you can, take no prisoners, kill as many as you wish." The guards all are the Dragonborn soldiers begin to draw their weapons, and as they do that, the Warforged brace them against the wall and start pull out their spears and their shields, and they begin engaging these Dragonborns in combat. As that begins, there's a large scream as this Dragonborn who was just arguing with the mayor releases a massive amount of flames from his mouth and begins burning citizens around him. People running off and are screaming in agony. Butterbeans, Ironsilk, Lucy, Sasha, and Dimi. Go ahead and roll me dexterity saving throws as flames lick past you. Thornalyn, you notice that as people are screaming and running away, the Ojos have begun engaging these Dragonborn soldiers. The mayor looks at you and he says, "Get behind me."
The mayor says, "Get behind him?"
Yes, and as he steps in front of you, he raises his hand and an arcane ruin appears in front of him in a circle. There's numbers on all surrounding a large lotus flower in his hand. As he pushes it forward, the air around him, you, and the Warforged gets thick, and it looks like it's full of green sinew and webbing, but it's really, really, really so thin that it almost seems invisible. But you can tell that it's there, And as arrows start firing at you, the arrows hit the wall and they move very slowly through the web. And then they pause in midair. What'd you guys get on your dexterity saves?
24.
I got the
24?
20.
20?
I got 13. Jovial or Butterbeans got 13.
13? Sasha, what'd you get?
And
A 10? You all are able to evade the flames. The flames move past you and you're able to dodge them, and people around you aren't so lucky. Most around you begin to burn away. The smell of burned corpses fills your lungs. The mayor says, "Everybody run!" and he releases a loud croak and begins like shooting like magic missiles out at these like dragonborn that are like getting next to the stage. The Ohos are like cutting down tons of dragonborn as they move closer to the mayor. And as everything looks like it's becoming a little less crowded with people filing out, and it's just dragonborn and these people fighting, the ground begins to shake. Before anyone has a chance to truly like get a handle on the situation that's happening, large pillars begin to rise out of the earth. Walls of steel begin to form around like the houses and the buildings. The podium splits in half, and the mayor looks at both of you and he says, "Go! The maze is activated. Go, go, go!" And he like leaps off the podium. The Warforged grabs you, Thornalyn, and throws you off the podium before it smashes in half as the steel wall rises out. A large construct begins to form around all the buildings, forming walls upon walls and upon walls. And then you begin to notice that a large maze starts to form down the streets, growing taller and taller and taller, as you all are stuck in the center of it.
Hooray!
Excellent.
Luckily, Lucy has been dropping breadcrumbs this entire time.
And as you all kind of huddle together as walls form around you, someone falls at your feet. As Thornalyn, you are thrown into this crowd of ne'er-do-wells and misfits. And you look up and you see that your new company happens to be this colorful people that you noticed earlier.
Hooray!
Butterbeans immediately like kind of try to reaches forward to help Thorn to his feet.
A Tabaxi reaches down and helps you to your feet, Thornalyn.
He's a sleek black Tabaxi with a little white mustache imprint on his muzzle.
Yeah.
I think what you
Thornalyn
mean to
is
say
just
is he's handsome.
Thornalyn's just a big panther.
That's fine.
In armor.
They are still equals.
Oh yeah, they're both Tabaxi. He knows that. And he kind of stands up and looks around and says, "Well, this is unfortunate."
You don't say.
Screams can be heard from behind the steel walls as people are getting crushed under debris and falling fountains and tables and stuff. You hear the goblin next to you. She's like, "Uh-oh." And then you see another goblin run into the center with you, and he's just like looking around frantically, and he's like, we need to I don't know what we need to do. As the final wall appears in front of you, a sigil erupts with a bright light and blinds each of you. Everybody with dark vision loses dark vision. as you all are submerged in pitch blackness.
May I cast dancing lights?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Is it like we lose it for good or just temporarily?
You don't know, but as he casts dancing lights, you all can see now. Like the light, it's not so dark where light can't like touch it, but the sigil above the wall, it's like an eye with a couple eyes around it, has lost its glow as well, and you suspect that has something to do with your inability to see in the dark.
That's interesting.
And that's where we're gonna stop here. Next
Aw.
time,
Very cool.
Sound
Right at
Dragon
the
Ball Z.
action.
next time we're gonna go through a maze.
Cool
That's
day.
That's really cool.
I'm. Oh, I hate mazes.
So we level up, right?
It's the milestone, right?
It's a milestone. Not yet. Not quite.
Five levels per session. That's what I heard.
I agree. I agree completely.
You're outvoted, Robert.
I am.
You're only the game master. Get the fuck out of here.
Next time we will really put to the test if you all were paying attention to the things around whites.
Oh,
So,
I
is it
100% was
wrong that
right.
I picture? Is it wrong that I picture you as like the little dungeon master from the old cartoon?
No, not at all. That is perfect.
I need to go
brings
buy
me
that
back.
costume and just like
Straight up.
Do you know we're doing it every 2 weeks, right?
yes, every 2 weeks, Mondays at 7:00 every 2 weeks. So it's not next week but the week after.
Okay.
So the 22nd.
Excellent.
And
So
oh boy,
Good.
bring your thinking caps, guys, because the Adventures Fair is inside this maze as well, and who knows what could have escaped.
Robbie, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm playing a 10-year-old girl, so I don't have to wear a thinking cap. I get to be dumb and cute. That's all I want to do.
You're valid.
Get a drink. Maybe the tea pot food stand is still there.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night. I'm gonna go ahead and log off.
Happy Valentine's
Night,
Day,
guys.
guys.
See you guys.
You as well.
Bye.
Take care. That was
Bye,
fun.
all.
See y'all
week.
next time.
Bye.
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 Here, Robbie.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.